Hello everyone, it's Rick. It's Friday, June 16, 2017. If you need to reach me, my email is rick0327@me.com, and just banging these videos out. We had a guy today, Roger. He's a fellow New Yorker. He's an iron worker. I like iron workers because during the cleanup at 9/11, these maniacs were down there with their welding equipment and chopping that building apart, so we could dig out of voids to look for bodies and stuff. Anyway, he went to family court today, and he submitted today the Dismissal Coram non Judice. And you're not going to believe what happened. Well, they told him to leave. They took the paperwork, and they said, okay, because he was outside in the hallway, and that's it. Now, as somebody who's very familiar with the family court, being that I've been there about 20-something times over a 6-year period for one case where my ex-wife defaulted like 4 or 5 times, didn't show up. I didn't show up one time because I wasn't even notified, and they hammered me with $40,000 in arrears. But anyway, what they're doing is, and they've done it to me. I tried to, if you saw the video with me, the Writ of Quo Warranto video where I'm in front of the judge, I guess maybe, he treated me very respectfully because they all know who I am, obviously. But, and I got myself a stay, and eventually the order was vacated. But he wouldn't see me again. I tried to see him a couple of times because the scumbags over in the child support agency, they were ignoring his order. They were still trying to collect the money, But what's also good about being a pain in the ass, because I'm making a point here, the child support people, after they were told to stop, they still sent an income withholding order to my pension system. And my pension system wasn't having it this time. They were tired of me. So the point I'm making is, it's good to keep mailing these things out to these people. It's good to threaten them. It's because they don't like it, especially when they know they're wrong. I have another guy in Texas. He's going at it with these people, Brian. And now this is also proof that my paperwork is very strong. He was submitting the paperwork to his employer about these fucking garnishments. I'm sorry. And he they call him in the office with a lawyer and tried to get him to sign a piece of paper that he's going to stop harassing them. So they termed him fighting for his rights as harassment. Thankfully, he was recording it. And then they wanted to stop harassing, and that he's not going to seek any actions against them. I mean, think about how stupid these people are. He's got them now. He owns them now. Now it's just time for him to go to court and follow through with this. Now, all it's going to take is them getting a subpoena, and the when they get copies of the the papers, the action papers, they're going to be making a deal with this guy like that. And this is how stupid they are. That these employers don't realize that screwing you over is going to cost them a lot more money than them being afraid of these fines from these child support, this threat by the child support agency. If you don't submit the paperwork on its face, in other words, when they say based on its face, even if they screw up and there's like, a bunch of mistakes, you still got to send the money. And then they tell the employee, oh, by the way, you can't fire him or her because they want their money. This is how these people are amazing. And it's all illegal. So they say, well, if you don't pay, you're going to have to, there's may be fines. There's the word may. We know what may means. May means they can't. In my paperwork, I don't say may or shall. I'm telling you I will. That's how confident I am. Like in the paperwork where I'm like, well, default is if you don't respond, not that we shall take you to court and file a writ of mandamus. We will. Okay? There's no playing games here. So, we're getting there. The paperwork's getting really strong. I'm really, really confident in, this Coram non-Judice. And what I did? I made a affidavit, court papers that what I want you to do from now on. Anybody who's thinking about getting paperwork from me, anybody that's gotten paperwork from me, and you have an upcoming hearing coming, you reach out to me and I'll send it to you. What you're going to do is you're going to demand a trial by jury. And what we're doing then is it's a public notice, because all court papers are public knowledge. Okay? And so you're letting them know you're demanding your right. Now, what I said was, I am being threatened with arrest, being threatened with my license being suspended, and I'm being threatened with a default judgment. Therefore, I will be appearing basically like with all my rights intact, under duress. And then I say, and because I am being threatened with arrest, it is my understanding that I'm going to be before a judicial officer, right? Because a non-judicial officer can't place you under arrest or order somebody to place you under arrest. And then I said, it's my understanding that it's my understanding that this controversy of this alleged debt is more than $20. I'm demanding a trial by jury. And what happens now, it's on the record, and their response, is could be appealed. And I know in New York State, the appeal courts, you're basically only allowed to appeal a constitutional guarantee. All right, but if you don't raise it in the court and you don't raise jurisdiction, you can't bring it up at a later date. Okay, that's what the writ of quo warranto is all about as well. You have to demand jurisdiction while it's going on. So that's what we're doing. So, demand a trial by jury. We're demanding a dismissal. And in the paperwork, there's a writ of discovery. And in the writ of discovery, we want to see this evidence that the court is relying on, because let's not forget, if we don't show up, they're going to hammer us with a default order. Well, the default order must be based on evidence. So let's see this evidence that the court is relying on. Without evidence, the order is arbitrary and capricious. Therefore, it fails to follow due process. I'm in the middle of a funeral procession right now on the highway. Anyway, so, we're getting things going. So again, Roger today, family court out in Suffolk County, New York. Judge must have got that paperwork and was like, holy shit. Now, he was there to speak to the judge. They don't want to see him. They don't make you come to the court to submit paperwork and then tell you to go home. Okay? That's what happened to me in my federal lawsuit when I filed the order to show cause. They made me pace around the fucking hallway to court for 2.5 hours, and then they never saw me. And then another judge rejected my order to show cause 2 weeks later. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the paperwork, it can't be answered legally. I mean, it can't be answered by them, by the way they want to answer, because the right thing to do is for them to dismiss the case. That's the right thing to do. Okay, but for some reason, these courts don't like to dismiss these bullshit child support cases, where most of the women aren't even getting friggin' public assistance. Therefore, the state never paid a penny. Therefore, we don't owe anything. There's no back pay. That's the whole basis. Recoupment of welfare pay. Recoupment of welfare payments. Nobody's on welfare. What the hell are they collecting for? And then switch gears. A couple of guys. Now, this is awesome that because you guys, and I'm 3,200 subscribers right now, which is blowing my mind. I had no idea this was going to happen. No clue. I basically started this channel, over a year ago to vent my frustration, to document what I'm going through. And, I started little by slowly doing what I do. Then because I used to be an instructor in a police academy, and I like to teach. I like to spread knowledge. That's what happened. But a lot of you now, when you go to court, you're asking that question. Is this a judicial proceeding? They don't answer. Or they lie. Right then and there, you got them. That's misrepresentation of law. That's a fraud. One guy got, Mike Delgado, gets called into a room, and the lawyer, it's in the comment section, the lawyer they assigned him was trying to bullshit him. And he's like, listen, I'll let you represent me so long as you do what I ask you to do. Well, he wasn't having it. And he was like acting like he doesn't know what Title 4D is. Are you fucking kidding me? I haven't been able to find this. I wish I could find it. I'm convinced that these lawyers are getting some type of kickback pay. So, like when you're getting divorced and you have an attorney, like they're pushing you to get the, they make it sound so great. Yeah, just get the child support paid. That way you don't got to worry about it. And she can never say that you're not paying. And then you're caught up in this. God forbid you lose your job, right? Or, like my friend Mike Gilligan, your ex-wife don't let you see your children. Meanwhile, the money's still going to her. And by the way, the courts have said if you're not being allowed to see your children, you don't got to pay child support. But tell that to the fucking child support agency. And these judges don't like to screw with the child support for some reason. Because it's money that's going to the state. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update. The Coram non Judice today, right away. Roger went to court. Paperwork was submitted. He's standing out there for a while. Judge tells 2 court officers to tell him to go home. To be continued, right? That's a good sign, though. All right? It's a good sign. So listen, I want you guys to have a good weekend. I might make a video over the weekend. And I'm very close to writing the writ of mandamus. I'm putting together this package now where we're fine-tuning this now. Where, I've said that there is no magic bullet, but if we get the paperwork just right, demanding a trial by jury, demanding that the non-judicial person has no jurisdiction, therefore, either you change the venue, but the judges aren't allowed to sit in on child support cases, by the way. There's another way of boxing them in. The writ of discovery. These things, if you go in fighting before you even walk through the door, instead of you being on the defensive, you got them on the defensive. Because I've been through it. You guys have all been through it. You go in there, they don't even give a shit what you have to say. Okay? But you don't have to speak if you got paper, right? All right, so listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you guys. Be good.